Welcome to Trinity Church of Austin. I'm Sid Hall, Trinity's lead minister. Because of the coronavirus emergency, we are streaming our service over the internet rather than holding in-person worship. We are taking the pandemic seriously and following the guidance of the United Methodist Church, the United Church of Christ, as well as the CDC. We are closing our doors to gatherings for the foreseeable future. Phone numbers for texting prayer requests, a downloadable order of worship, email address for Pastoral Care, and instructions for supporting Trinity are in the description of the YouTube video below, and much of this information will also appear on the screen. An early 6th century theologian described God as beguiled by beauty. The Creator was lured to create by a longing for beauty, and so set in motion a world of immense diversity and generativity. We were made for this divine generativity. We were made inherently worthy, not by our own doing, but by simply being. All things are beautiful, not by a standard of pretty as seen by our eyes, but by an essence of sacred worth that is sensed by the Spirit. In this worship series entitled Beguiled by Beauty, we dwell with the God of divine beauty, who is deeply in love with us. Together we practice returning that divine passion as we fall more fully in love with creation and with each other. The message today is entitled Awakening to Beauty, Falling in Love with the Cosmos. At the end of our welcome time, we will light a candle to begin our worship and create sacred space together. We will do this every week in our online worship. If you have a candle at home and you'd like to light with us, please feel free to bring that in and do so. Also this week, we are honoring our fathers and fathering figures during the worship services. Feel free to text in during the prayer time or write in the chat box the names of fathering figures important in your life. Please know that at Trinity, whether we're meeting online or in person, no matter who you are, who you love, what you believe or don't believe, you are welcome here. Welcome to the celebration, friends.
Hi, I'm Christine Major, and I'm the administrator for Trinity. At Trinity, we often celebrate the turning of the seasons with the practice of calling the directions. This is a practice that appears cross-culturally, in traditional European and in Native American spiritual traditions, among others. We turn to each of the cardinal directions and the center and honor the elements of life: air, fire, water, earth, and spirit. It's a practice that helps us become more present with our embodiment and more aware of our interconnectedness with natural forces. Today, we'll call the directions in honor of the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. In the northern hemisphere, we begin in the east and move clockwise, turning in the direction of the movement of the sun. Take a moment right now to think about where the sun rises over your house. At my house, it rises over this tree. That's the east and the direction in which we'll begin our prayer. If you're able, you can stand and face the east, south, west, north, and center, or you can simply bring your attention to each direction in turn. So we'll begin in the direction of the rising sun to welcome air. O Spirit of air, we call you. We know you in the stillness of every new dawn, in the crispness of breezes cooled by night, in the first beams of the rising sun shining through. Bless us now and always with your clarity. Welcome, air.
O Spirit of fire, we call you. We know you in the fury of the noonday sun, and the wall of heat pushing from an open oven, in the quiet light of candles upon our altar. Bless us now and always with your intensity. Welcome, fire.
O Spirit of water, we call you. We know you in the cooling power of rain, in the tinkle of ice in a glass of lemonade, in the refreshing plunge of bare feet into a cold river. Bless us now and always with your calm. Welcome, water.
O Spirit of earth, we call you. We know you in the shadows cast by the setting sun, in the joyous taste of ripe summer fruits, in the comfort of a cool, grassy seat under a night sky. Bless us now and always with your nurturing. Welcome, earth.
O Mother and Father of all, we open ourselves to you. Cleanse us with your burning sun and cooling water. As the summer grows long and we turn our faces once again toward fall, give us the strength to live each day in harmony with your creation. Welcome, Spirit. Blessed be.
We try to satisfy our thirst for meaningful life with so many distractions. Awakening to beauty is to find the well that never runs dry. For it is in beginning to truly see the world with our spirits that our soul's thirst is quenched. The resilience and beauty of the natural world is a sign of hope, even when things are difficult. A tree is scorched by fire, and yet new sprouts shoot up, defiant and optimistically reaching toward the sun. A crack in a sidewalk reveals the seeds just below the surface, waiting for a chance to break through. Contemplating this resilient beauty draws us back to our own vitality and the promise that we too are capable of new life.
For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth
Hey Trinity, it's Joe. I'm your youth director / video content editor, producer, and streamer, I guess for lack of a better term. I decided that for my children's circle, I would go over what I've been up to since this whole pandemic has started to shape our lives in such a drastic way. Because I don't have any children's books in my house at the moment. So the main thing I've been doing, obviously, has been video editing and streaming for y'all. That's the main shift in my life, at least, has been a more focus on that, which I've done in the past, and so I'm really glad that I get to use it to help Trinity in a way like this. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's a nice reminder that sometimes things that we learn that we don't think is going to be very useful in the future actually come back and becomes very handy to have. Another thing I've been doing is doing a little bit of reading of books that I don't normally get to read during the semester at seminary, just because I'm busy doing reading for classes. So I'm taking some time to do my own reading. Of course, I think some other people have mentioned, doing cleaning and organizing in my apartment, which, again, don't have a ton of time of that for the semester, so it's nice to be able to do that now. And finally, I'm also beginning to do a little bit of sign language classes. I did a video of it yesterday, and I'll probably do a video later today and do one tomorrow. And I'm just going to try and keep up on doing that every day for the rest of the summer and see how much sign language I can pick up by the time we're all back together again. So I just want to say that I'm really glad to be able to talk to y'all again, and I'm really looking forward to when sometime in the future we all get to see each other again face to face. And I'm keeping all of you and all of my youth, of course, in my prayers. Thank you guys. I'm going to pass it on to Tim. Bye.
Hi, I'm Tim Brace, Director of Music at Trinity Church of Austin. For this series and our meditations, we're going to engage in Visio Divina, which is a form of divine seeing in which we invite God to speak to our hearts. Please sit in a comfortable position, relax your body. In Visio Divina, we gaze at an image and are present to it without any particular goal other than allowing it to speak to us wordlessly with a divine voice. Allow your mind and heart to receive the beauty of the image and the music, the movement, the colors, the patterns of image and sound as an encounter with the divine. Or sit quietly with your eyes closed and listen to the music, opening your heart to the sounds of the instruments, the movement of the harmonies, the patterns, and the richness of all of these together. Receive this music as an encounter with the divine, and let it share with you the beauty of creation.
Morning. I'm Mark Moore. I'm the Associate Pastor at Trinity. And during our prayer time, we receive dozens of prayers each week. And so please keep your prayers brief. If we don't get to your prayer in the allotted time, feel free to type your prayer into the YouTube video chat box as we go along, or later, when we record all of these prayers and review them together as a staff. I invite you now into a time and an attitude of prayer. Are there prayers that you would offer now for our lives and for our community? Please text your brief prayers to 512-766-3123. A prayer for continued healing for my daughter Anna. Healing and joyful spirit. Receive our prayers. Prayers for Reverend Ellie Philbrook and Ezekiel Henry, and also for Devin Henry and Kelly as they heal from COVID. Healing and joyful spirit. Receive our prayers. A prayer for Barbara Lightheart. Tomorrow is the second anniversary of Peter's death. Healing and joyful spirit. Receive our prayer. Prayers for Kim Davis, who for the second time during the pandemic has broken ribs. Healing and joyful spirit. Receive our prayers. Prayers for the fathers of Jennifer, Gabriel, and Yerman. Excuse me. Healing and joyful spirit. Receive our prayers. Let us hold these prayers and those carried in the silence of our hearts for a moment of peace. And hear now this prayer. Divine beauty, Holy One, please pause us for this moment. Bear us up in this time. Hold us forever. We embrace the brokenness of our lives. We believe that you are creating new light that will shine through. We open to your possibilities. In your many names we pray. Amen.
For this series, we are singing the Lynn Unger song, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, for our song of reflection. Lyrics are from the Sufi mystic poet Rumi. We are delighted to have this video put together for us by our own Mark Boyden, and also the talents of Dave Robinson and Carol Lewis in creating for us a body prayer set to the music. Light German has joined them in presenting the body prayer, and our choir gathered virtually to provide the song for you to sing along with. Lauren has provided her usual fine piano accompaniment. Please stand in body and/or spirit and sing with us.
wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Milford. I've been a member of Trinity Church of Austin for 10 years now. I'll be doing the first reading, Some Words on Beauty by Marcia McPhee. We try to satisfy our thirst for meaningful life with so many distractions and addictions. Awakening to beauty is to find the well that never runs dry. For it is in beginning to truly see the world with our spirits that our soul's thirst is quenched. The resilience and beauty of the natural world is a sign of hope, even when things are difficult. A tree is scorched by fire, and yet new sprouts shoot up, defiant and optimistically reaching towards the sun. A crack in a sidewalk reveals the seeds just beneath the surface, just waiting for a chance to break through. Contemplating this resilient beauty draws us back to our own vitality and promise that we too are capable of new life.
Good morning, Trinity family. My name is Stephanie Molnar, and I've been a member of Trinity for about 14 years, and I'm pleased to share the second reading with you this morning. The second reading is Psalm 147, verses 1 through 11. How good it is to praise our God! It is a pleasure to make beautiful noise. God rebuilds Jerusalem and gathers Israel's exiles. God heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. God knows the number of the stars and calls each one by name. Great is God and mighty in power. There is no limit to God's wisdom. God lifts up the oppressed and casts the corrupt to the ground. Sing to our God with thanksgiving. Sing praise with the harp to our God, who covers the heavens with clouds, who provides rains for the earth, who makes grass sprout on the mountains and herbs for the service of the people, who gives food to the cattle and to the young ravens when they cry. God does not thrill to the strength of the horse or revel in the fleetness of humans. God delights in those who worship with reverence and put their hope in divine love.
Today for our message, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to share a story, and a story not by me, but by Brian Swim. Brian Swim is a physicist who is also what I would call a spiritual humanist. He is part of Matthew Fox's original faculty at Holy Names College and with the Institute of Creation Spirituality and later the University of Creation Spirituality, and has been involved in the connection with our spiritual lives as well as the earth and cosmos. And so today for the sermon, Awakening to Beauty, Falling in Love with the World, with the Cosmos, it seemed appropriate that I share this story from Brian. Brian is also the leader of the video series that we're watching on Wednesday nights as a part of this summer series. And if you're not a part of that, you're very welcome to join us on that, and there's information about that in the highlights. So I would call this a cosmic story, though he didn't name it. So I invite you to put on your listening ears, invite you to be in a spirit of perhaps sitting around a campfire or maybe a living room and hearing this story. A moment in the future when children are taught by a cosmic storyteller, I invite you to imagine a small group gathered around a fire on a hillside meadow. The woman in the middle is the oldest, a grandmother to some of the children present. If we can imagine such an event today, we can be assured that tomorrow someone will begin the journey of bringing such dreams into reality. The old woman might begin by picking up a chunk of granite. At one time, at the beginning of the earth, the whole planet was a boiling sea of molten rock. We revere rocks because everything has come from them, not just the continents and the mountains, but the trees and the oceans and your bodies. The rocks are your grandmother and your grandfather. When you remember all those who have helped you in this life, you begin with the rocks. For if not for them, you would not be. Then the woman holds the rock before them in silence, showing each person in turn and saying, "Do you hear the rock singing?" In the last era, people thought there was no music in the rocks. But we know that is not true. After all, some rocks became Mozart and revealed their music through Mozart. Now she slowly sinks her hands into the ground and holds the rich, loamy soil before her. And she goes on. Every rock is a symphony, but the music of soil soars beyond capture in human language. We had to go into our outer space to realize how rare and unique soil is. Only the earth created soil. There is no soil on the moon. There are minerals on the moon, but no soil. There is no soil on Mars. There is no soil on Venus, or on the Sun, or on Jupiter, or anywhere else in the surrounding trillion miles. Even the Earth, the most extraordinary creative being of the solar system, required 4 billion years to create soil. We worship and nurture and protect the soils of the earth because all music and all life and all happiness comes from the soil. The soils are the matrix of human joy. She now points to a low-hanging star in the great bowl of the night sky and says, right now that star is at work creating the elements that will one day live as sentient beings. All the matter of the earth was created by the grandmother star that preceded our sun. She fashioned the carbon and nitrogen and all the elements that would later become all the bodies and things on earth. And when she was done with her immense creativity, she exploded in celebration of her achievement, sharing her riches with the universe and enabling our birth. Her destiny is your destiny. In the center of your being, you too will create, and you too will shower the world with your creativity. Your lives will be filled with both suffering and joy. You too will often be faced with death and hardship. But all of this finds its meaning in your participation in the great life of Earth. It is because of your creativity that the cosmic journey deepens. She stares into the distance. In the long silence, she hears the thundering breakers on the ocean shore, just visible in the evening's light. They listen as the vast tonnage of salt water is lifted up in silence, then again pounds upon the sand. She says, "Think of how tired we were when we arrived here. And all we had to do was carry our little bodies up the hills. Now think of the work that is being done ceaselessly as all the oceans of the world curl into breakers against the shores. And think of all the work that is done ceaselessly as the earth is pulled around the sun. Think of all the work that is done ceaselessly as all the 100 billion stars of the Milky Way are pulled around the center of the galaxy. And yet the stars don't think of this as work, nor do the oceans think of their ceaseless tides as work. They are drawn irresistibly into their activities, moment after moment. The earth finds itself drawn irresistibly to the sun and would find any other path in life utterly intolerable. What amazing work the stars and the planets accomplish, and never do we hear them complain. We humans and we animals are no different at all, for we find ourselves just as irresistibly drawn to follow certain paths in life, and we pursue these paths, our lives, even should they become filled with suffering and hardship, are filled with the quality of effortlessness. Once we respond to our deepest allurements in the universe, we find ourselves carried away. We find ourselves on the edge of a wave passing through the cosmos that had its beginning 15 billion years ago in the fiery explosion of the beginning of time. The great joy of the human being is to enter this allurement that pervades everything and to empower others, including the soil and the grasses and all the forgotten, so that they might enter their own path into the deepest allurement. The light of the dusk has now gone. She sits with the children in the deepening silence of the dark. The fire has died down to become a series of glowing points, mirroring the ocean of starlight above them. And she says, "You will be tempted at times to abandon your dreams, to settle for cynicism or greed. So great will your anxieties and fears appear to you. But no matter what, remember that our universe is a universe of surprise. We put our confidence not in our human egos, but in that power that gathered the stars and knit the first living cells together. Remember that you are here through the creativity of others. You have awakened in a great epic of being, a drama that is 15 billion years in the making. The intelligence that ignited the first minds, the care that spaced the notes of the nightingale, the power that heaved all 100 billion galaxies across the sky, now awakens you too and permeates your life no less thoroughly. We do not know what mystery awaits us in the very next moment, but we can be sure we will be astonished and enchanted. This entire universe sprang into existence from a single numinous speck. Our origin is mystery. Our destiny is intimate communion with all that is, and our common species' aim is to celebrate the great joy that has drawn us into itself. Rocks, soils, waves, stars, as they tell their story in 10,000 languages and 2,000 cultures. They bind us to them in our emotions and our spirits and our minds and even our bodies. It is the earth who speaks in all of this. It is the earth who tells her story. It is the earth who persuades us to switch our allegiance from the partial to the whole. It is the earth who carries out the transformation from terror to a celebration of life. And her only power is the magnificence of her story. And we, my friends, who are beguiled by her beauty, are the storytellers. Amen.
Our hymn for today is All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. The lyrics are attributed to St. Francis of Assisi, an Italian Catholic friar, philosopher, and mystic who lived in the late 12th and early 13th centuries. Was canonized in 1228 and designated the patron saint of Italy. There is much that could be said about Francis, still one of the most venerated religious figures in Christianity. St. Francis believed that nature is the mirror of God, and that all creatures, as well as the sun and the moon, are our brothers and sisters. The current Pope Francis took his papal name in honor of St. Francis due to the saint's concern for nature and for the poor and disadvantaged. The tune we will sing is named Lasst uns erfreuen, which translates into English as Let Us Rejoice, and comes from early 17th century Germany. The piano arrangement is from the great English composer Ralph Vaughan Williams. Please stand in body and or spirit and let us sing together.
Now's the time we bring forth our offerings. In our worship space at Trinity, we always have two opportunities for our offerings: a wooden bowl for the programs and ministries of Trinity, and even now, as we're feeling the tension between continuing social distancing and the desire of many to return to shopping and dining out and worshiping together, your support of Trinity remains critical for us to meet the commitment we made to put the well-being of the broader community first in our hearts and in our actions. And that means to continue worshiping online for a little longer, and to continue paying the dedicated folks who work with our children and our hourly staff, and making our facilities available to Hope Food Pantry and the Homeless Task Force. And we also have a woven basket for a special offering each week for that broader community. And this week, it is for the Reconciling Ministries Network. The Reconciling Ministries Network is an organization seeking the inclusion of people of all sexual orientations and gender identities in both the policy and practices of the United Methodist Church. Trinity became a member of Reconciling Ministries Network in 1992 as the second congregation in Texas to do so. Trinity is committed to supporting the network as part of our witness, so that other churches may be able to join. And there are now hundreds of churches throughout the country in this network. Now, there are several methods by which you can give to Trinity today. You can go to our website, www.trinitychurchofaustin.org, and click on the Support tab and scroll down that page to find the options there. You may download the Give Plus mobile app from either iTunes or Google Play, and you can also text your offering to 512-967-0292 and add the keyword SPECIAL to support Reconciling Ministries. And if you want to give to both the general fund and the special offering, send two texts, one with that keyword SPECIAL and one without. Please send Trinity your most generous offerings today.
Hey Trinity, I've got a few highlights before we close out the service today. First, as always, you can reach out for pastoral care if you need to or just want to. Sid's cell phone is in the description of the video, or you can email pastoralcare@trinitychurchofaustin.org. That email just goes to myself, Sid, and Mark, the pastoral staff only. You can also continue to donate to Hope Food Pantry. They're still doing great work out of our church. Their website is hopefoodpantryaustin.org, where you can find out more information at our website/support. We are continuing a Wednesday night class that started this past Wednesday that Sid Hall is leading, and the class is called The Resurgence of Cosmic Storytellers, and it's based on a video series by Brian Swim. and it's about science and storytelling and mythology. And that's Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. If you want information about how to join, email office@trinitychurchofaustin.org. We also still have our adult groups meeting every Sunday morning. That's just before the service, and it's the Happy Heretics group, the Lydia group, and the Social Justice class. And in addition to those, we have the Trinity Care of the Soul meeting for parents Thursday nights. And if you'd like more information about how to connect to those Google Hangouts, please email office@trinitychurchofaustin.org. That's all I have.
And now, may the peace of God go with us. May the power of God sustain us. And may the love of God keep us together forever.